Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. So guys, the MLB All Star Ballot is officially out. We're just in phase one. It's just recently been opened up for fans to vote on their MLB All Stars for the 2022 season, the 2022 All Star Game in LA. Now it is kind of early. We still have a little less than a month left till the All Star Game, but I thought, we do have a good enough sample size, I think, to determine who deserves to be an All-Star. So why not just put in our ballot, our votes for each position, each league, give our All-Star votes right now? Why not? Guys, definitely make sure to comment your opinions. Let me know, because obviously there's a lot of close calls when it comes to All-Star voting, so I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But with that being said, guys, let me give you guys my All-Star ballot. So this is, I believe, MLB.com/All-Star ballot. You can vote, it says 5 times a day, up to 5 times a day. Every 24 hours, and you can do it all the way till June 30th. Today's the 21st when I'm making this video. You have 9 days to do it, so go ahead and do it if you want to vote. If you're a baseball fan, I recommend you do. So let's start with first base. Now, I do like how it's giving me it tells me who's currently leading each position. I think the top 3, or at least top 2 in each position in each league. And so we're going to start with the American League first base, okay? And right now, Vlad Guerrero Jr. is leading first baseman. Makes sense. He probably is the best first baseman in the AL. He's putting up, the power numbers are there, 17 homers, 41 RBIs. Ty France is second. Deserves it because he's had a phenomenal year hitting for a great average. But you know what? My personal opinion, I don't think either of these guys deserve to be the starting first baseman of the AL. I'm going to give the nod to Luis Arias. I made a TikTok talking about how big of a fan I am of Luis Arias's. I just love how he's just such a great contact hitter. Look at the average, 359. Great plate discipline, doesn't strike out a lot, walks a good amount, just a phenomenal contact hitter. In an era that it's all about power, this guy's hitting 359 and barely striking out, and I think that deserves to be rewarded. So I would like to give Luis Arias the nod. Shout out to, there's been a lot of good first basemen. Anthony Rizzo has put up a lot of good numbers. Jose Abreu's always good, and the 2 aforementioned guys, Ty France, Vlad Guerrero. But I'd like to give it to Luis Arias for this year. National League, we've had a lot of good first basemen here as well. CJ Cron, Pete Alonso, a lot of great power hitters. Freddie Freeman's always a great option, always worthy of being an all-star. But I'm going to go with who the fans rightfully have in first place. That's Paul Goldschmidt. He has had an MVP caliber year. Look at that average, 339, 16 homers, 58 RBIs. We're not even halfway through the season. An OPS of over 1,000. Can't pass that up. No doubt, I think Paul Goldschmidt's been the best first baseman in baseball, not just the NL. So then we move on to second base. This is a position that a lot of times offensively is shallow, and this year is no exception whatsoever. Andres Gimenez has been great. I don't think the numbers aren't there power-wise, counting stats, I guess, to be representing second base. I mean, maybe he's been good. Jose Altuve is currently leading because he's always the popular choice. He's had a good year. But you know what? I'm going to go, a lot of times what you see is the team that's the best at the All-Star break, the fans like to vote a lot of their players, as we saw with the Cubs in 2016. I remember their entire infield, the entire infield of the NL was Cubs players. And I think Gleyber Torres has had a nice bounce-back year. The power's back, and the Yankees are playing so well. I think he deserves to be rewarded by being the starting second baseman for the AL, excuse me. Now we move on to the NL. There's a lot of players that have had good years. No MVP caliber players, I think, in either league, offensively wise, at the second base position. The current leader is Jazz Chisholm, and I have to agree with that. I think he's such an exciting player, and overall, offensively, I do think he has been the best player in the NL offensively. The average is kind of down from where it was before because he was hitting, I think, around 300 a couple weeks ago, but he steals bases, hits for power, just 5-tool potential, or at least 4-tool potential, really good defender, and I don't think anyone's played better than him at this position. I don't think so. This has been a rough year for NL second baseman. So let's move on to third base. Now, Rafael Devers is leading the AL for third baseman, hitting 332, 16 homers, 43 RBIs. I mean, he's been absolutely phenomenal, and I feel so bad for him because if he was any other position, he probably would be starting for the AL. But unfortunately, you have Jose Ramirez at the same position in the same league, and I can't pass up Jose Ramirez. I personally think he's had an even better year than Rafi Devers because I think the offense is worse, but he somehow has almost 20 more RBIs. He's just doing everything. This is the year that, we talk about, does he deserve an extension? Will Cleveland extend him? And the answer is yes, and he deserves it. So I definitely think Jose Ramirez, you can make the argument he's the best hitter in the league, or he's been the best hitter in the league this season. And so third base, goes to Jose Ramirez. In the AL. NL, this is easy as well. Manny Machado, we saw the ugly, gruesome injury on Sunday, but it looks like he's going to be all right. He probably will end up avoiding the injured list as well, so it looks like he's healthy. He's going to be good to go. Definitely deserves to lead or be the starting third baseman of the National League. Then we move on to the shortstops. Now, in the AL, Bo Bichette's leading. He's in first place. He does have 10 homers and 33 RBIs, good counting stats, but I personally think, it's either going to be Xander Bogaerts or Tim Anderson. I would say Tim Anderson, but he hasn't, because he does have the best OPS and average among shortstops. He's hitting .357, just a phenomenal hitter. But I think because Xander Bogaerts has played more games, Tim Anderson's missed a lot of time due to injuries. So I'm going to actually give the nod to Xander Bogaerts, despite him not being in the top 2 for voting. .331 average, played most of the year, played more than Tim Anderson, and I think you have to have played a majority of the games, I think, to qualify to at least start for your league at a certain position. Then we move on to shortstops in the NL. Right now, Trey Turner is leading the charge for shortstops in the NL. Dansby Swanson is second. He's having a very nice season. And I just want to quickly look through Francisco Lindor, not hitting for the best average, but the home runs, RBIs, the runs, the counting stats are there. So he deserves to be an all-star, I think. Too bad Fernando Tatis is hurt. We know how he would probably be a starting shortstop. But I'm going to give the nod to Trey Turner. He's not playing as well as last year, but at the end of the day, the guy's still hitting over 300 on a 110 plus RBI pace, has, I think, 14 stolen bases, just doing his thing. And if this is just an average year for Trey Turner, look out. That just shows how good he is. He's played like an all-star starter to me. Then we move on to catchers, and what a great story Alejandro Kirk has been. He's in first place for the AL, 5'8", not the tallest guy, but man, does he pack a lot of power in his bat. And Jose Trevino's had a nice year. He's second. And I don't think there's any other. I think it's pretty clear cut. I think right now, Kirk, it deserves to start, I think, for the AL. So I'm going to vote for him. He's in first place, which he deserves, I believe. Then we have the NL. And right now, Wilson Contreras is in first place. Travis d'Arnaud, they're both having good years. Will Smith having a solid year, but I'm just really disappointed that Tyler Stevenson got hurt, because I think he was clearly on pace to be the starter for the NL, but he's going to be out for an extended period of time. So I will give it to Wilson Contreras. I think he's been slightly better than Travis d'Arnaud. I think he's going to be a hot deadline commodity. I think the Cubs will be trading him, but nevertheless, he deserves to represent the NL. Outfield. For the AL, outfield's always the toughest, because outfield is usually the best offensive position. So many good outfielders. Taylor Ward's had a great year. Benintendi's been good. Robert's good. Brantley's good. But this is easy. Aaron Judge is the MVP in the AL this year so far, I think. So that's one. Easy. Mike Trout, easy. So simple. Such an easy decision, right? Mike Trout, you have to go for him. He's having a great year. But the third one, George Springer, I believe, is third in voting. So there's been a lot of good ones, though. Stanton's had a good year. Byron Buxton, the counting stats, he's had a good year. I just want to make sure there's not someone I'm missing. I think Julio Rodriguez might deserve some consideration, but I will go with George Springer. He's had a very nice year. Power's there. And if Luis Robert had played more games, I would probably go with him. So those are our three outfielders for the AL. Then we move on to the NL, which has been significantly worse in the outfield position. Mookie Betts right now is leading the charge, and I will go with him because he has declined a little bit. He was so scorching hot in May, but the counting stats overall, he's still had a very nice season. Hopefully he can get back healthy soon and in time for the All-Star break. So that's my first vote. Then my second vote, I believe, hang on one second, guys. Who was second place? I remember looking at this. I think Ronald Acuna was second place, but the problem is I'm not a big fan of voting for him because he's had a great year in the games that he has played in, but he's missed a lot of time. So I don't think I can give him the nod. I don't think, personally, I don't think he's played enough games to be an all-star, at least not a starter. I'm going to give Jock Peterson the nod. I think he's had an awesome breakout year. 14 homers, 36 RBIs, hitting .269, which is surprising for him. And then I'm going to go, this is a little bit unorthodox, I'm going to go with Starling Marte at the third outfield spot because he's been all around great like he normally is, hitting for a very good average, .282. Home run, he's going to give you 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases. I believe he's on a 100-run pace. The defense is always good. I think he's just been super solid all around and is having a good enough year, at least for the outfielders that we have in the NL this year. I think he deserves to be a starter. I can't think of anyone else here. So, yeah, those are my position players. Now we go to the DH, and both leagues, in my opinion, it's so easy. Yordan Alvarez and Bryce Harper. These two, look at their numbers. They're very similar. Well over 300 hitters. Crazy power RBI numbers. OPS is over 1,000. These are two disgusting left-handed hitters. Just so difficult to pitch against. Two of the best lefties, two of the best hitters we have in the game. And Bryce Harper and Yordan Alvarez have pretty much been full-time DHs, so no doubt these two deserve to be there, both playing like MVP candidates. So those are my picks. Now, they don't let you vote for the starting pitchers, but I'm going to vote anyway. I'm gonna give you guys, I think each league gets 7 starting pitchers, so I'm just going to quickly, I have them written down here, guys. Here are my 7 starting pitchers for each league, and then I'm going to tell you who I think deserves to start. So for the AL, I'm going Shane McClanahan, Nestor Cortez, Justin Verlander, Alek Manoah, Paul Blackburn, Martin Perez, and Logan Gilbert. Those last 3, surprising, but they've been really good. Those are my 7 starters. Then NL, Joe Musgrove, Sandy Alcantara, Tony Gonsolin, been phenomenal. Tyler Anderson for the Dodgers. Him and Tony Gonsolin are both 8-0, deserve to be all-stars, I think. Corbin Burns having another great year. Carlos Rodon, great first year with the Giants. And Max Fried, who's had another great year with the Braves. So those are my 7 starters, and I think Shane McClanahan should start for the AL, and I think Sandy Alcantara and Joe Musgrove, one of those two, probably Sandy Alcantara for the ridiculous workhorse of a pitcher he is. I think he deserves to start the most, but I hope Tony Gonsolin starts the most because he's had a phenomenal, unexpected year. I think he will be an all-star, but because the game's in Dodger Stadium, maybe that's what gives him the starter nod. We'll see, but I think ultimately Sandy Alcantara and Shane McClanahan, or Joe Musgrove and Shane McClanahan, I think deserve to start one of those two in the NL. But guys, that's going to be it for this video. Definitely comment your opinions. Let me know where do you agree with me? Where do you disagree with me? Who deserves to be an all-star? Let me know. Like the video if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're a sports fan and you haven't done so already. And I will see you guys in the next video.